Are you ready to discover the subconscious patterns that underlie your physical symptoms? Well, that is the topic of our episode today. I'm Madeleine Lowry, a neural retraining specialist who helps people with chronic symptoms and conditions get unstuck and optimize their healing potential. Let's talk about neural retraining for chronic illness and why this process can be so transformative, especially for people who have struggled with chronic symptoms for years. Many of you listening understand by now that the method I use is an advanced form of neural retraining that works directly with the subconscious mind. You may also understand that this work helps to reset stress patterns and shift emotional or physical responses that are keeping you stuck. But you still may be wondering, how does this actually happen? What makes it so different from other methods or from all the things that I've already tried? The first thing I'd like you to understand is that there are emotional and mental patterns that underlie physical patterns, and all chronic symptoms are physical patterns. Let me say that another way. All chronic symptoms, no matter how mysterious or how explainable, have emotional and mental patterns at their core. When we can change the emotional and mental underpinnings, we can create a space where healing can happen. The second thing I want you to understand is that those foundational patterns, the emotional and mental patterns that create or maintain the symptom, are not apparent to your conscious mind. If you've had chronic symptoms for decades, you may recognize the futility of trying to figure it out using your conscious mind. Remember, the conscious mind is responsible for about 10% of all brain activity, while the subconscious mind is 90% of brain activity. The subconscious mind is also 1 million times more powerful than the conscious mind, so when we can recruit it to help us to understand the connections and the associations, we have a powerful ally. And have you noticed how very few practitioners are interested in the question, why did I develop this symptom or this diagnosis? And why did it appear at this point in my life? The answers are assumed to be unknowable. And yet my clients are having insights into this all the time. During the course of a session, often insights arise that shed light on the patterns that have led to a diminished state of health. We start to see how we squander our energy that might otherwise be used for healing. And, better yet, we start to see how we might choose to live our lives differently to allow us to thrive. What kinds of insights? Sometimes very fundamental insights into how we perceive the rules of life or the world and how they apply to us. Sometimes it's about the ways we deny our emotions and needs. Sometimes it's about the fears that preoccupy us and keep us in the stress response. Sometimes it's about the beliefs that limit or restrict us in terms of what we can or cannot do, or have, or the reasons why we cannot experience more in life. Sometimes it can be about the role of certain emotional barriers like shame, guilt, or blame, and the hidden truths we have not been willing to face. These can be very profound insights, or they can be quite subtle, and they are very unique to the person, though some of the themes may be universal. For example, if you are a person with a recurring symptom like pain or like heart palpitations, you might find that these symptoms are related to a fear of being rejected and memories from childhood about being bullied, criticized, or shunned. You might realize that you have unreasonable expectations of yourself, that you feel the need to prove yourself, or are not allowed to fail. You might find that as those memories and those connections are neutralized in a session, that situations that would have triggered the symptom are now less triggering. And that gradually, over a set of sessions, the symptom is less frequent, less intense, or both. And that is the beauty of working at the subconscious level. You can't think your way there consciously. These are insights that surface only when the deeper mind is invited to participate. The subconscious mind is an associative mind. It is not a logical or thinking mind like our conscious mind. Things that make sense to the subconscious may seem quite nonsensical or even childlike to the conscious mind. And experiences that happened long ago can loom large in the subconscious. The benefit of having these insights is that we start to understand the programming that has been running us, and we can then endeavor to change it. You don't have to keep repeating the disempowering patterns of the past, and this is what neural retraining does best. It helps us to identify patterns and break them down, and then replace them with more desirable patterns or responses. And this is true whether the pattern is emotional, mental, behavioral, or physical. Through this process, we neutralize suppressed emotions, resolve the pain associated with trauma experiences, and improve our response to stress. You may already recognize some of these patterns in yourself, and you will understand when I say that they are not easy to change. Some people assume that they cannot be changed at all, that they are baked into our personality like our hair color or our eye color. But I am here to tell you that they can be changed. These are just patterns. They are habits. They are not who you are. When we change the programming that has been running you, big changes may not feel so insurmountable. So what I want you to understand is that neural retraining is not just for relief from your physical symptoms. You also come to understand yourself better and how to improve the way that you show up in your life. And you may even come to understand why this symptom or this diagnosis showed up when it did and what it was meant to teach you. And that can be very empowering. To be sure, this is a process, not a miracle. But by going through the process, you ensure that you won't make the same disempowering choices again. You will understand the pitfalls and avoid them more skillfully, and become the empowered, fulfilled person you always knew you could be. This is the kind of transformation that can happen with just a few MAP sessions. We are not erasing memories or forcing positive thinking. We are helping the subconscious mind to identify and update its programming so that old emotional and mental patterns no longer control your physiology and no longer keep you stuck. Your body is designed to heal itself, and when it isn't, the reasons often lie hidden in the subconscious. When we can clear those old stress patterns, those negative beliefs that keep you stuck, your body can finally return to balance and healing becomes possible again. If you've been feeling stuck in chronic symptoms or trapped by patterns you can't seem to change no matter what you try, I invite you to explore this work for yourself. You can learn more about upcoming group or private sessions at tcneuralretraining.com. If today's conversation resonated with you, please follow the show, rate it, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening, and remember, when you change your mind, you open the door for your body to heal. Content of this podcast, copyright 2025 by Twin Cities Neural Retraining. Music by Barbara Ben.